So you want to start an AI agency. Maybe you've seen the headlines $90,000 in a monthly recurring revenue and thought, how are they even doing it? Well, today I'm incredibly excited to have my business partner Liam Johnston on the show. Liam and I are running an agency named Promptible, which has more than 13,000 followers on Instagram. So here's a question for you, Liam. If people stay till the end of this video, what will they tactically learn?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Prakarsh. Um, Essentially, what we want to go over today is what is it really like to run an AI agency, the ins, the outs, the downfalls, the struggles, and all the successes that we've been through. We're going to go basically over everything today so that you guys can see what it actually takes in order to run a successful AI agency.
Yeah, that's really great. So, all right, let's begin with the entire journey. And to begin, I think I just want to know, let's take it back to the beginning. How did you
Mm.
even start?
Yeah, so looking at this, I I got into the entrepreneurship space when I first started my painting company, and this was a franchise that I started through Student Works, and it was my first time like ever making real money on my own, running my own business. And what we did was we were basically thrown into, door to door sales. We were thrown into cold calling. So I learned all these skills to be able to, basically manage a team, sell painting contractors contracts, and essentially knock on doors for like 4 to 5 hours every week, just like trying to book painting quotes. And so this got me excited to start another business after. But it really started when, I first made like my first like 30, 40K in a month running a business like this as well. And we did like 100K within the first month of sales. Not the first month. Let's say we did 100K within the first like 3-ish months of running this painting company. And essentially, the name of it's called Student Works, and it's a Canadian based company. And we were basically set up to have a mentor, which he took care of the entire process of training us, teaching us what it takes to delegate and manage a crew. So we ended up hiring in our first year about 2 crews. That was 4 people total, and we would go and paint houses all across Toronto, Ontario. And in our second year, we did about 230,000. In our first year, we did 146,000 in sales, and obviously a great experience to start off. And just getting into the next phase here, um, I obviously have a degree in marketing here, as you can see. And one thing that's crazy is that I never learned how to code in my entire life. I still don't know to this day how to write a single line of code. Um, I ended up getting a marketing degree, and I was solely focused on, staying on the business side of things and not getting into the technical. I never thought that would be something that I would do, but it ended up being that I learned how to, do and use tools like N8N and Make.com to build workflows, which took months and months.
So I think what thing excites me the most is how did you go from painting business to make.com automations? How did you even got to know that, make.com automation actually exists?
Good question. Yeah. So looking at this here, I guess the pivot was the point where I realized there was a major opportunity in the AI space, and that happened when I actually learned and had a close, let's say, mentor who I reached out to on the odd occasion to get insights on entrepreneurship and business. And he was in e-commerce, and he knew all the ins and outs about e-commerce and what it takes to start and grow and scale an e-commerce business. And so I was kind of going in that direction, and he kind of said to me like, hey, it was probably November or October, and he was like, you gotta get into the AI space like in the next month, 2 months, I guess next year. Like AI, you're gonna be able to sell it to real businesses for real money, and there's gonna be a huge opportunity. and he just kept telling me like with e-commerce there's so much overhead, there's so much money to be spent on infrastructure and overhead, and with this AI structure there's zero overhead, right? The clients pay for per pretty much everything. They host it on their side, they pay for the APIs, they pay for the credentials. So it's such a scalable business model if you can do it the right way. And he pitched that to me, and what I learned and what I got from it was, you know, I really need to put my head down and learn this stuff because I knew nothing about I didn't even know what NA&N was until like December. I knew make.com because that was like what I was watching videos on, and it was like guys like Liam Otley, um, Nick Sarive. These guys were some of the first couple people that I saw on like YouTube, and everything that I did was self-taught. So I was watching a video here, as you can see, I was taking screenshots on like prompt engineering and learning about how to utilize prompt engineering and tools like this. And this was way back in November when I was just like self teaching myself, learning every day how to do these things. Because again, the learning curve is not easy. And everyone says like you can take a plug and play AI automation and you could start selling it right away. But you do realize that there's a lot of intricacies that go into this. Not only do you have to know how to utilize APIs, you also have to understand prompt engineering if you need to change the prompts for a different business. And there's many more things that we could get into, but generally there is a process to actually starting and learning the skills that it takes to be able to sell AI automations for real. Um,
Mm.
yeah.
So I think I do have another question. I saw a huge trend in AI automations by the month of June 2025. So when
Mhm.
did you get into make.com and N10? When was the time?
hmm Yeah. So when I first started learning these, automation skills, it was probably November, like mid-November, in 2024.
Mm,
You can see here, this was in December. This was when I
mm,
first started to have things click for me. And when I first started building like more complex workflows on make.com,
mm,
N8N wasn't even something that I had used yet, because again, it wasn't as scaled of a platform as it is now with the customizability and all that stuff.
mm,
Make.com was the more prominent one that the people were using. And you can see
mm,
here, like this was my workspace. I was constantly, using the two monitors you see here, and I was in and out of different flows and teaching myself. Um,
mm,
and essentially the way that it went for me was I tried to think of, what flows could I build for my own business that would not only help my own business but also help other businesses. So what I would do is I would every day try to build one flow, whether it's complex or not, basically something that could help me and help another business in the real world. So then I would go and take that, and I would try and build it out of my own, right? Without looking at tutorials, without taking a template. And that is what allowed me to actually make things click.
So essentially, making sure that business you're solving out business problem through AI automations, I believe.
Yeah, just like doing it for myself allowed me to see it for to see how it's done for other businesses, right? And what actually could help them.
Hmm. That's really great. I think that's what is real problem solving is if you already have an experience of how the problem is or what the problem is, only then you can solve it. So since you were already running a business, it's best for you to come up with some business solutions that other people can also use. Really good take here. I just want to cover up a bit about myself as well. So
Yeah.
I've been software engineer for almost 5 or 6 years now. So me and my friends were college dropouts. We wanted to understand how entire AI space is moving forward, and we came across AI automations by the month of December. And yeah, we started building N10 automations. Started watching a lot of YouTube videos, of course, from the top people like Nick Sarayev, Nate Herc, and
Mhm.
all. And then we shifted into this crazy flat where me and my team just started living there. And I think it has been a crazy journey with me, Liam, with all of my friends, learning together, building together.
Hmm. Yeah.
I think
I'm just curious, like, from your background being, a high level developer, I guess what made you go towards more no code tools and using
hmm,
those?
the real reason was that We understand how to code, we understand how the tech can be built, but we wanted to dive in into the real marketing thing. So you already come from a marketing background, you understand all these things. But since we essentially come from a tech background, we wanted to learn all these things. So our main goal was we have to target AI and we have to target the real audiences. And by the month of December and November, I believe we just saw good trend. People were trying to catch up with AI automations and all. That's what made us dive into N10 as well as make.com, because again, since it's quite easy to use, anyone does not even know coding, they can just dive in. But since we already have an idea of how the tech works, we can implement more complex automations on N10 and all and still target the real good audience. So it was a sweet spot for us where we know about tech and we can go into the marketing side, something like that.
Yeah.
And of
Um,
course, we have you on board. I think it's really good for us that you're handling the entire business strategy and everything. All right, so this was a good phase. Now let's talk about how did you start the company named Promptible? How did you have an idea and everything?
yeah. So let's zoom in here and let's take a look at this stage. So Promptible, this is my first logo I created, and the funny thing was is that I was never actually going to start a business in this AI space because I was very close to giving up and moving on to something that made more sense to me. Because again,
Hmm.
like I said, I have a marketing degree. I had no experience in AI, and I was just doubting myself. Like, can I actually do it? Is it possible? Right? And basically the point of no return for me was when I registered my business, when I created the logo, created my social media accounts, and forced myself to actually make and take action, because I would have never, crafted this logo or done any of the work it takes, like that just move the needle forward, right? Because really, if you say you're going to do something and you don't like do the sub actions that it takes in order for you to actually follow through with it, you'll never move the needle forward and you'll be stuck in the same cycle. So for me, it was really important that I actually took action and did those things, because it would have never came to be, right? So this was huge for me, and it allowed me to basically have that domino effect of just like doing things. Now that now that like I was at that point, I was like, oh, I started this business. uh Now I got to post, right? Now I actually got to reach out to real businesses, and there was no way of me turning back, right? And I
Hmm.
honestly looked at it from a lens of like, this isn't something that I'm experienced in, so like I'm doing this as an experience to learn, and I'm happy doing it because I actually enjoy helping businesses automate their tasks, right? So when I first started this, I was just like, even if a business comes to me and they're interested, like I'm just going to do it and I'm going to learn, even if I don't, if I'm not successful with the build, as long as I can actually get a real business through the door as the first client, that's an awesome achievement, right? For any business, first
Hmm.
client, first customer on your website, first view, whatever it is, it's a big win, and you should celebrate it, obviously. But for me, it was just like a learning experience, so I was happy just diving in and going through the process of everything.
Hmm. I think coming on to the first client that we were discussing, how did you land your first client?
Yeah, so really, what it took for me to land my first client, and um, what a lot of people don't know is like you can actually get real clients through social media. And for me, my first client came directly through organic social media, through Instagram. As you can see here, this was the first video that ever took off for me on Instagram, and it was just a
Hmm.
simple tutorial of me showing an AI agent in N8N that could send personalized emails to people. This was back in like January. I
Hmm.
posted this, not expecting to get views. Like I said, I was just doing it for, the process. I was enjoying the process of learning the stuff, and I would just post what I was building. And so this video blew up because people wanted an AI agent that could send personalized emails based on, a calendar booking. And this
Hmm.
ended up getting me like 5 to 10 booked calls, and I ended up signing my first client that month at the early February part. And this was like 3 months after I started learning how to build
Hmm.
AI automation. So I spent that time in and out days learning, and by the time it was February, I signed on the first client. Obviously,
Hmm.
uh, uh, a rule of thumb just for most businesses is obviously not to overcharge with your first client. Like for me, I didn't go and sell my first client for 5K, 7K, 10K, right? Because again, I was just learning still and I didn't know if it was going to 100% work. So if you're someone who, is just starting an AI agency watching this, like it's a very good idea to get some trial clients in, or at least charge like 1,000, 2,000 bucks, so that
Mm,
you get the client through the door, you get some confidence in yourself that you can build it, and then you get the experience of actually building these flows out. And that actually will keep the ball rolling for you, because once you get one client through the door and you have the confidence, it's going to keep you motivated to post more videos to do that. And if you overcharge, like it's going to be hard for you to get your first few clients through the door, especially without testimonials and all those things that your competitors will have, right? So it's just a crucial thing, and it's very important. So
yeah, I think just curious on one part as well. So this video that you showed us that blew up, how many videos did you post before that so that you had a staging area?
uh, there was about there was about 3 or 4 videos before that,
Mhm,
that I posted that did okay. Like they did 2,000, maybe 3,000 views,
mhm,
and you know, for me, it was more about forgetting and not caring what other people think, because there's one thing that I found to be a struggle for myself, was to actually just post and show my face online, because I know that's a lot of people's fears, and I hear it all the time from other people who aren't posting their face. Like they'll hide their face, they'll use AI to showcase videos, and it for me, it was something that I had to learn how to become comfortable with, because again, like having a personal brand means you have to show your face, and if you want to have a really good personal brand, and grow your followers, people want to see
mm,
you. They want to see you being organic and genuine, and it's a
mm,
must. It's a must have if you're a business owner. People want to see the founder like growing, right? And it's almost like they're along for the ride. They're along for the journey to see you and your process, right? And
mm,
so, like, obviously, we've grown our page and our brand a ton. And
mm,
the one thing along the way that's helped us is just being genuine and authentic, like not trying to portray yourself in a way that you wouldn't post about, right? Because as soon as you do that, people will be confused about what is your brand then, what are you actually posting about, right? So it's so
mm.
crucial that you post what you are authentically, and not only that, just post, right? Because you know you'll be sitting there thinking, should I click this post button, should I write this caption, should i should I edit this clip out, like do I really want to say this? Just fucking post it. You got to post it, right?
Yeah, totally makes sense, man. Thanks for
Hmm.
the advice. The next thing that I'm really interested in, it's the revenue. I really wanted to talk about that.
Hmm.
So, how do you think the revenue grew the entire journey? So, you started in January, where you registered the first company, and till July, it's 14th of July right now.
Hmm.
How did the revenue grow, and what were all the key steps?
Yeah, I mean, uh it started off with like one client, and then became like a week later we signed our second client, and then like a few weeks later we signed our third client, and it kind of just slowly got, more and more. Um, it, it slowly got we slowly got more clients through the door, and at that time, still, even for the first like full month that we were getting clients in that month of February, it was just straight organic social media that we were posting these videos, just like you see here on this photo. It was just clips of me showing a build that I had done for myself that I thought could be and make sense for another business, right? And
Mm,
so every time I would post this, it actually helped me a lot, because I was able to generate between 10 and however many views we got, 10K, sorry, and however many we got. And with that, like we got some leads from it, right? And I was getting a few book calls a week when I was doing it by myself. Um, and it was great. Like I was really gaining confidence in myself, as an agency owner, and I was like, this is awesome. I got my first 5K from the agency within my first month, and then from there I kind of realized, like, I do want to scale this. I want to find a partner who I can grow the business with, scale the brand with, and actually find someone who's an expert, because you absolutely can, and it's doable. So
Hmm. That's a good take. I think a lot of us, anyone who's starting an AI automation agency or any business, I think it should be very well understood that social media is not just social media anymore. It's a very good lead generation tool. So how
mm,
you posted all the Instagram videos, just showing off the entire build and everything, that put you in front of a lot of businesses, a lot of people who can be interested in your product, and eventually you're gonna build out your target audience, and that's how is the best way you can generate good quality leads for the business.
mhm,
All right. So I really wanted to jump on numbers now. So again, you had the first 4 months with good revenue and all. Then I think by the month of February, we started working together on a lot of different
mhm.
projects. And how did the revenue changed from that? That's my question again.
Yeah, so as you can see here, just going over it briefly, but I put out a post on Reddit. This was, you can see, 5 months ago,
Hmm.
and obviously, uh, this was your message here. We I watched the video. We kind of hit it off. We had a few calls together, and we essentially partnered up in a way where we could take on more clients. And this was, I think it was early March that we partnered up, and we
Yeah.
were able to take on 2 to 4 clients at a time now, and that way
Hmm.
we could actually scale the business slightly, right? And
Hmm.
this was March, and at in March we were doing over 10K a month. We started to hit 10K, because me and Prakarsh were taking on multiple, me and you were taking on multiple jobs
Hmm.
at once, and so this was obviously good for us to finally hit that 10K mark, and then getting
Hmm.
into April and going beyond that, we were fluctuating between 10K and 15K a month in revenue.
Yeah.
And the reason that is, and the reason why we struggled, is just getting to my next point of custom AI automation. And
Yeah.
there's a lot to be talked about with this, and there's a lot of things that people don't know about custom AI
Hmm.
automation. They think it's cool, and it is, because you're helping a business solve a problem that not many people know how to solve, but there's a few downsides to it. And the four that I can name off the top of my head that I've learned from doing this is: there's tons of iteration, there's a lot of scope creep, it's very slow development, and there's very long audits. So the process of a custom automation usually goes something like: you spend a week trying to figure out this customer's workflow, this client's workflow. You
Hmm.
you audit them, but then you realize there's more to it. There's more tools that they have. There's a lot more that needs to get added on, and so this leads to slow development because our team cannot start the work until we know exactly the tools. And sometimes when we're doing custom automations, there's continuous credentials that we need to get that we haven't gotten because we don't realize, oh, we need this too. We need this
Hmm.
too, right?
Hmm.
And so this all in all leads to a bit of scope creep as well, because when the client has more tools, more work gets added on. And when more work gets added on, the scope creeps, right? And so if you quoted the client 3 to 5K, you could
Yeah.
be looking at upwards of beyond that in terms of work. And it really sucks. And it did really, hit us hard in the month of May, um,
Hmm.
where these projects that we signed on in April,
Hmm.
um, were were delaying into May, causing us to be very slow and lower our revenue stream for the month of May. And it really affected the team's morale and the way that we were able to scale further. So the month of May was really a reset for us and we had kind of had that pivot point of
Hmm.
what we needed to do next. A question I have for you is, like, we grew this revenue, me and you, and I guess there's a few steps in between that we could talk about, and I guess, like, how did we scale beyond just us two, and what did that look like when we, from your side of things, like with the team, and how you grew your side of things.
We started working on projects together in March, And I think at that time it was only me and you who were working together. We were trying to build more automations, just the two of us. And I think that's the essential part of any business. Whenever you're able to travel a journey from 0 to 1, 1 to 100 is more of delegation of the tasks. So that's what I did. We had a few friends and we set up we sit back together and we was trying to hire more people. We had a job posted on Twitter, on different other social medias, and we hired a few people. We hired a total of 4 people in the entire team who will be the next generation developers. So we'll be handling more of how the entire build, the entire system design of the build, and the developers that we hired will be developing the entire automations. So by the month of April, I would say we had almost 4 people on our team, other than two of us. And as we grew further, I think by the month of June, we were able to get a total of 14 people in our team. So I think I would like you to answer the question: how did we grow from 14 people by the month of June? I think we were working on different projects by then. So
Yeah, I mean, I guess for us, we realized with once we transitioned to this mindset of custom automation, we
mm,
we realized there was a huge opportunity. This was in probably the middle of May, after we had finished up a bunch of custom automation workflows for, let's say, 3 to 4 clients we were currently working with, that we started projects for in April. Right, we started
mm,
these projects at the beginning of April, and they lasted till the middle of May. And
mm,
it wasn't because we were doing anything wrong. It wasn't because the projects were complex. It's because when you do a custom automation build, there's a lot more work than you think. And so we realized we needed to scale the team up. And we had this mindset shift and this huge opportunity to where we saw that a lot of these custom flows and a few of the ones that we had built before just for our own business could be productized. And what that looks like is a flow that you have built for a client or for your own business that you know could be plug and play, that you could take the skeleton, the framework of the workflow, and all you'd have to change out is the few nodes, like the CRM, the triggers, whatever it is, and the general structure of it stays the same. And this allows you to actually focus on this one system as a niche system, whether that's one, two, or three systems that you're going to productize. And
mm,
you essentially can go to many businesses with one system and sell that exact system because it works for everyone, right? So,
mm,
for example, we had built this lead generation flow. This was in the last month. We came up with this flow. We realized that there's a huge demand for lead generation in the AI space, and so what
okay,
we did was we built out a flow specifically for lead generation via cold email and LinkedIn. And a lot of our clients were, demanding this flow. We were getting on calls and we were realizing, hey, like this guy and this girl and all these clients are all recommending or demanding this flow, this lead gen flow. So we made it as good as we could. And we essentially got and sold this to, let's say, now five or six clients we've worked with that we've sold this exact flow to. And the time that we spent building this flow was cut in
mm,
half compared to the custom flows we were working on, and sometimes
mm,
even more than that. And that's allowed us to grow beyond 15K a month. And
mm,
now our goals are we're looking towards hitting, 30K months with these productized flows and beyond that.
mm,
Like
mm,
I I believe we can be doing, 50K a month by, the almost the end of the year or just beyond that.
mm,
But our goals are set now on, making these productized automations our, go-to solutions when a client comes to us with a problem. We recommend
mm,
these three because they actually, for our ICP, they actually do um, help a lot, and they really uh, you know tackle these business problems that a lot of
mm,
businesses face, whether that's
mm,
inbound handling leads, whether that's lead generation outbound, or whether
mm,
that's taking companies' data and all of it and turning that into a retrieval augmented generation system that's a one lovable front end that they can query any data they want. Um, and these are the three flows that we've kind of we've kind of found work as a solution for Promptible, and we're essentially building every day for our clients now.
Mm. Um, just a question in this part only. What was the previous loop in time? So the entire time it used to take from a client to get onboarded with the entire project and the delivery, the this entire loop in time, what was that time while we were doing the custom automations and while we were doing the productized automations? What is the difference?
Yeah, so with the custom automations, like we would spend well over a month every single time. I can remember, there was one project where, we did this blog automation, and this blog automation was a obviously a very cool automation. We wanted to take it on. It seemed cool. It looked cool. It sounded like it could be something that would really help the business, and we took it on, and
Hmm.
we took it on for, I think it was like 3,000 $3,000.
Hmm.
And, we were like, oh, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be fine. But we ended up, building the system once, and then we ended up working on it more. Another, like, we finished it in 2 weeks. We ended up for another 4 weeks working on it, right? Because the client had so many requirements and so many specifications. Because if you think about a blog, and you think about SEO, and you talk about WordPress, there's so many intricacies involved in getting it as good as it can be from a human standpoint. And there's keywords, um, there's so many tactical things inside of the blog automations that we needed to input that weren't something that we foresaw when we first scoped out the project. We thought it was going to be a simple blog automation that we could just generate a blog, but no, there had to be keywords, there had to be calls to action, there had to be social embeddings. Like there was so many extra things that we didn't foresee, right? And this is when we right after this project, we switched our mindset to productization, and now most of our projects we cap them at 2 weeks because it usually doesn't take longer than that, and we're able to basically just switch out the nodes in n8n and sell it for the exact same price each time. And it becomes super simple for us because it's a system, right? It became a system for us, and we
Hmm.
essentially took it now, and now we're spending less than 2 weeks sometimes on these projects, and we're handing them over for, $4,000-5,000, and we're implementing speed now. And this is for an agency. The number one thing is speed and efficiency, right? And businesses will like it more. They don't really know that you're productizing it. They just know that you're faster, and that's making them happy because they're getting their result faster. Rather than a lot of our clients that we did these custom automations for, it's not like they were unhappy. It's just that they wait so long for a system, and then by the time they actually get it, they're disappointed that in the system because they were so excited and they had a dopamine hit when they first signed, and then six weeks later they
Hmm.
get the system, and they're like, oh, well, I've been doing this for the last month while you guys were building it. So
Hmm.
again, like this is the key things as to what's helped our agency get
Hmm.
beyond this problem, this huge problem. um, and it's not just us. Like there's a lot of agencies out there that would probably watch this, or are probably going to see this and realize, yeah, like we do need to switch to productize, because custom can be good. If you're specifically going for custom, then I would say charge more, charge a lot more,
Hmm.
and you'll be good.
I think that is a good strategy, shifting from custom automations to productized one so that we can decrease the loop in time. It also retains the customer's excitement. And of course, we are also able to make more revenue very quickly. That's a good take.
Mm,
Yeah, and I think by the month of May end, by the end of the May, I think we were able to onboard a new project, which was Mark AI, and I wanted to talk about that.
hmm Yeah. Just going on to this SaaS here, I want to show you guys what we were working on for the last 3 months, while we were undertaking, multiple projects at once. This was something going on in the background. Um, Obviously, we spent a ton of work on this project. Um, we built this SaaS that is essentially your own AI employee that can handle all of your marketing tasks. So when you think of a human employee that you hire to do your social media. You call this person an intern. They come into your business, they don't know anything yet, but they have to learn, right? An intern, they come, maybe they're a college graduate, and they come in and they understand, okay, what is your ICP? What is your target audience? What is all this stuff, right? And they learn over time and grow, and they get smarter and smarter, and they post better, right? A human intern for social media and marketing. And so we
Mm,
built Mark to basically be that. He is that of a intern that comes into your business and automates your social media and grows with your let's say your brand over time. So
mm,
you talk to him every day and he strategizes with you, and
mm,
after 1 month he is going to be a high level intern that's able to know what you're going to post tomorrow, next week, next month, because he
mm,
understands your brand, he understands your strategy completely. And it's not just like ChatGPT where you start a project or a new thread and then you have to reset it every time and tell it, "Oh, I'm working on this now." He tells you what you're going to work on like an employee would, right? So he starts working without you having to prompt him. So this is why he's so cool, and it's something that we've built up, and we wanted to make him as human as possible. Obviously, we created a little blue creature, but obviously, we wanted something to feel a little less AI and more of a character, somebody like Duolingo in a
mm,
way. So this is kind of the dashboard that we've built the UI, and what we were really going for with this project was lovable. And when you think about lovable, there's a chat on the left side and what it's
mm,
building on the right. And this is what we're going for with Mark, because he's going to talk to you on the left, and on the right he's going to build things. He's going to show you the calendar he's scheduling. He's going to show you his mind that he's building, and he's going to show you the post that he's crafting for you while he's
mm.
strategizing. And so our goal with this in the next 3 to 6 months, I think I can pass this off to you, and you can tell us like some of the things that we have upcoming with it and why it's so important for businesses that are maybe productizing automations to look at
Mm,
SaaS and how they could build a SaaS with their automations.
mm. Yeah, I think talking about how different SaaS is from productized automation, I think with all the automations that we've been building together, we realize that people are using a lot of automations, but they tend to seem a hurdle of using N10 and a lot of different technicalities, where businesses do not really like that. So essentially, to solve another business problem, that is to build a very easy to use dashboard where they can just plug in all the APIs, everything that they have, and it will get them the results. So if you talk about the lead generation flow, we can build a SaaS over that, which can have all the credentials set up, and they just have to put in the entire input data that they want, and essentially it will run anything in the backend and will able to generate the results. Something similar is happening with Mark AI as well. So if you see all the automations, all the chat automations, all the post automations, everything is built on the backend, and now we've built this amazing SaaS over so that all the small automations are interconnected with using all these SaaS platforms. The next part that I wanted to cover in Marquee, I think it's really crucial that it is a really big project where the chat part, the entire brain of entire replicating an entire human behavior, that's very crucial. So that is the main part that took a lot of time, where we built a very crazy N10 automation. So just remember, everything that we're talking about, it is built on N10. There's a dashboard. There's entire SaaS platform is built on top of the N10. So that's why, I mean, you can see all this entire AI-based SaaS app, and a lot of different SaaS app that we are already using are built over all these crazy automations on the backend.
When we're talking about SaaS and building front ends and back ends with N8N, I guess what does it look like to build this for an actual client? Like what can be some ways that this can be turned into a system, an operating system?
Whenever businesses use these N10 automations, they come up with a hurdle that N10 is N10 or any other automation, it's too technical. And any business or any person who wants to use these automations, they want it to be a very simpler end. So when we build a SaaS over it, where they can see all the outputs, all the current statuses, and they can also input their entire data. So for example, you want a personalized cold emailing solution. So you can just create a Google sheet of all the leads, and you already have a business knowledge base. So you can just put all those two files into this SaaS platform, and it will send out all the personalized emails automatically using the N10. But by building this SaaS platform, what it does is it provides a very easy way for anyone, for any business, anyone who does not even have a understanding, to see what is going on exactly in the entire automation. So just a pretty face over a backend or over a very complex backend is what we're able to build by using Lovable and Cursor over this entire N10 platform. Okay, so coming on to the next part, we've talked about the entire journey, how you began, how the entire revenue is growing, and what all challenges we faced. Now, the next part that I really wanted to cover was what are the next steps that looks into this AI automation space, and for anyone who's starting an AI automation agency, what should be their next target?
Mhm. It's a great question, and the way I see it right now is that um, you can. I hear a lot of talk about AI automations are becoming commoditized, and the agency side of things is going downhill. And
Mm,
obviously, as someone who's in the space right now, I'm here to tell you that it's not. And there's always going to be a need for AI and automation for the next at least 2 3 years, because when you think about when QuickBooks came out, right? Everyone said, "Oh, since QuickBooks is out now, then I don't need to hire an accountant. I can just do it myself." But then there was people who still needed people to manage their QuickBooks, right? To
mm,
to do it, because some people just don't have the time, some people just don't want to learn it, and they'd rather just pay someone to do it, right? So that's the way I see things with, N8N and building these automation workflows is maybe it becomes easier, and I see that happening. I see every day there's chat-based N8N builders coming out. There's chat-based make.coms, but I still see the business not wanting to spend the time to learn it and would rather get an implementation company to come in and actually build out the real infrastructure, because there's there's templates out there. There is absolutely 2,000 templates of N8N automations that's leaked. These businesses, like, they might be able to grab a 2,000 template of N8N automations, 2,000 N8N flows, but really what I see is, like, not many of them will know how to actually take that flow and put it into their business, integrate it properly in the right place with the right tools. Because again, like, going back to this, the thing about commoditization is, yes, the AI automation space has a low barrier to entry. You could go into
mm,
someone's school community, you could steal all their flows and templates, and you could go and sell them to a real business tomorrow. That is very
mm,
true, and it's happening every day. But
mm,
the one struggle they're going to face is the difference between someone who actually knows how to build and integrate and someone who takes flows, is that
mm,
when it comes down to the errors, and in months down the line, it's going to cause a lot of trouble for someone who doesn't know how to fix that, and they just threw in
mm,
a template. So there's a lot of demand for real integrators, real AI automation professionals, and I don't see them going away anytime soon. So if you're someone who's
mm,
actually looking to learn instead of
mm,
just taking templates, I would definitely recommend take the time to learn. Don't just go in and grab a template. Take the time to
mm,
learn, build a good team around you, and scale an AI automation agency. It's honestly one of
mm,
the best business models in the this year, 2025. There, like I said, there's a low barrier to entry, but you still
mm,
have to put in the work and put in the time to to make it and to build it up, because again, it's AI, and everybody knows it's moving so fast. New models come out every day. There's Gemini 2.5. There's VO3, and
mm,
Grok just came out with Grok 4, right? And
yeah,
obviously, everyone's competing for these trends and these models in this space. And if you're
mm,
someone who is looking to get into it now, don't be
mm,
scared about don't be scared of the AI and all the automation experts out there. Just
mm,
be authentic, start posting, get on the trends, and
mm,
just be active, and you will find your way into the space and you will become successful. And you just need to be authentic and try to do your best to build a brand. I think brand building is more important than anything in this day
mm,
and age, and especially with AI and automation. There's
mm.
so many people on the internet looking for these solutions, and you can be the one to integrate it.
Oh, that was really helpful. Thanks, Liam.
Hmm.
So, just to wrap all these things up. All right. So, for those of you who are listening and who are inspired to start their own AI automation agency, what are some key takeaways?
The key takeaways is like if you're someone who's if you're someone who's very aspirational and wants to build a business, but you haven't found a working model yet, something that you could actually do and start. I think AI automation and like building AI systems for businesses is the number one business model to start in 2025. It makes sense. It's low barrier to entry, like I said, and you can find a team. You can build a team just like we talked about in this video. You know, it's not hard to put yourself out there and look for help, because even if, let's say, you're someone who is really good at marketing, you could go and find someone who's really good and technical, and you guys could team up, and you guys could sell these solutions because you could do the marketing and they could do the tech stuff, right? Same thing if someone's uh the vice versa, or in different realms, right? Like there's so many ways that you could set it up and build this kind of business, and it's not hard. You just need yourself, or if you're someone who's not willing to learn the AI automations yourself, then you can absolutely find someone who's ready to build them for businesses.
And just to add on to this, I think don't be afraid to niche down as well. We started by building all these custom automations, but we soon realized to grow the entire automation business, we have to focus on some niche. So Promptible started focusing on the lead generation, the sales agent, and all these automations, which focuses on how more revenue can be created for different businesses. And that's how, when we focus on one niche, that allowed us to become experts and build stronger reputation in front of a lot of different people. I think one more thing, I think don't get discouraged by the numbers that we see online. Building a sustainable business, it takes a lot of effort. Both of us, we have been working really hard for a very long time, and it takes a lot of consistent effort as well. Be excited to travel the journey rather than seeing the results. So if you are very consistent in traveling the journey, enjoying the entire journey process, you're gonna make it. That's some incredible insights, Liam. So thank you so much for sharing the journey with us. To all our listeners, if you want to learn more about Promptable, you are going to find all the social media links, all the website in the description of this video. Go and follow Promptable on Instagram, where you'll find all the crazy automations that me and Liam have been building. And if you're interested in how Promptable can help your business, check out the website on the Promptable's Instagram page as well as the description of this video. Well, thanks for tuning in into Small AI, and we'll see you in the next video.